Hello friends. Let's continue exploring devices from the new SONOFF series. This is a well-deserved popular manufacturer of affordable and high-quality smart home devices. The hero of this review is a wireless logical switch, or more precisely, a remote. A 4-button SONOFF Orb from the Fusion series, which includes a wide range of various devices, switches, sockets, curtain controllers, roller blinds, and so on. All of them are made in a unified design and can be combined using shared frames. Among the features of the SONOFF Orb, I would highlight the following. The ability to use it both on the wall and as a detachable remote, thanks to a separate platform and magnetic mount. For types of events for each button, single, double, and triple press, as well as hold. In addition to the native Ewelink system, the device is supported out of the box in Home Assistant via ZHA or Zigbee 2 MQTT. Support for, not a group mode of operation like, for example, in Zigbee dimmers, but actual binding. This allows direct control of Zigbee lights even when the coordinator is turned off, while still being able to use all other types of presses and automations. More details on everything coming up, and for now, as usual, I ask you to like this video so more people interested in smart home topics can find it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Type of device, wireless logical switch, remote. Model, SONOFF Orb SNZB-01M. Interface, Zigbee 3.0, support for direct binding. For buttons, each generates 4 types of press events. Mounting type, wall-mounted, or on a metal surface, or desktop as a remote. When installing on a wall, you can use double-sided tape or mount it over junction boxes, square or round. Power supply, CR2477 battery. Module size, diameter 50 mm, thickness 22.5 mm. Ecosystem, Ewelink, supported in Home Assistant via ZHA and Zigbee 2 MQTT. The device comes in an orange box typical for SONOFF Zigbee devices. Quite large, by the way. On the front side, an image of the device, the manufacturer and ecosystem name, and the interface, Zigbee. On the back side, as usual, brief device specifications, which I have just already described. Let's take a look inside. The layout here, as you can see, is not quite usual, which explains the size of the package. On the left, a box with the wall platform and accessories. On the right, the module covered with a protective plastic lid. And this is everything that was included in the package, along with what was found in the inner box. The device is already ready for installation and use. No need to buy anything extra. The actual hero of the review is a round module with 4 buttons, the layout of which may cause a perfectionist to faint. The wall panel allows you to install it in any convenient place, as it can be mounted not only over a junction box, but also using double-sided tape. This is the back side of the wall panel. Here you can see holes for mounting onto a junction box, the mounting hardware, and a piece of tape that will come in handy if there is no box. Using something thin and metallic, you can pry off the inner part of the panel and detach it from the outer one. This is necessary if you plan to mount it with screws to a junction box, as well as if you plan to use multiple devices from the Fusion series combined in a single frame. The manual, as usual, is multilingual but very compact. Only the most basic information is included here, but in this video, you will learn much more than what is written in the manual. This is how the review unit looks in the wall-mounted installation option on the platform, which matches the style of other smart devices from the Fusion series. The asymmetrical design of the buttons, let's leave it off-screen, as they say, to each their own. The removable platform has a standard size of 86 by 86 mm and consists of 2 parts. I will show them a bit later. The module is held on the platform by a magnet, and the plastic protrusion, fitting into the corresponding slot on the back cover of the module, ensures proper alignment. This is what the back side of the module looks like. It is the battery compartment cover with that same slot, which also allows removing the cover by rotating it. I removed the cover, out of habit using a coin, but then realized that you can simply place the module on the platform and start rotating it around its axis, and unscrew it the same way. It uses a thick CR2477 battery, as in most devices of the new SONOFF lineup. Out of the box, there was an insulating tab installed, which protects the battery from discharge. It needs to be removed. The review unit can operate in two modes: Zigbee, which is set by default, or Ewelink remote. It is switched here. I, of course, will use Zigbee. Here I decided to compare it with the SNZB-01M button. You will find its review via the link in the description. By the way, I really like it, convenient and reliable. The review unit is, as expected, slightly larger, which is logical since it has 4 buttons. It was interesting whether there would be compatibility with the wall platform. It seems logical to me, especially since the button also has a magnetic mount, a round shape, and a slot on the back. At first glance, the button can be installed on the same platform. But in reality, no, the plastic protrusion on it is too large and simply does not fit into the slot located on the button's cover. That's unfortunate. I traditionally start the logical part with the native control system. For the review unit, this is Ewelink. To connect, you need a Zigbee gateway. I use NS Panel Pro. Links to reviews can be found in the description. The connection process goes smoothly. The module automatically enters pairing mode after inserting the battery or after holding the reset button for 5 seconds. At the same time, from the front side, you can see a red LED blinking between the buttons. Here the device can be used in automations as a generator of button press events. However, only 3 options are available per button here, without triple press. As for direct binding, in Ewelink the description is unclear. It refers to luminaires with touchlink. Therefore, we will test it in Zigbee 2 MQTT a bit later. Another point we will return to, during the time the module was connected to Ewelink, the system did not offer a firmware update. It showed that the latest version was installed. There is not much more to see in Ewelink, so we move on to Home Assistant. First, we will use the native integration, ZHA. As a coordinator, I use a USB stick with Sky Connect firmware. I remove the module from Ewelink, manually put it into pairing mode, and start the process of adding new devices from the coordinator. Everything was detected quickly and, apparently, correctly. We see that several entities have appeared here. Let's take a closer look. Here is the device page. Here we see the firmware entity, battery level, and an identify button. There is no entity for the buttons. Presses are not transmitted as state changes, but as events, which are visible in the right column. This is the activity log. Now regarding the firmware, what Ewelink did not offer me, although I do not exclude that I just needed to wait a couple of hours. In ZHA, the update was discovered almost immediately to version 1100 from the factory installed 1005. But I will not update here. I want to check whether a new version will be found in Zigbee 2 MQTT. And here is an example of using it in automations as a trigger. As you can see, 4 types of presses are already available here: single, double, triple, and hold. That is, from all buttons, you can get up to 16 event variants. And finally, we move on to Zigbee 2 MQTT. The version current at the time of testing is 2.9.2. As a coordinator, a network version based on the CC2652P module is used. The connection process is standard, no surprises here. The module was detected and connected correctly. Support is native. I can also add that this is an end device, which is typical for battery-powered gadgets. Here 3 entities were detected: battery level, action where all press variants will be sent, and signal quality. Everything is standard. Firmware update is available here as well. Out of the box, version 1.0 build 5 is installed, which in ZHA was displayed as 1005. The current version is 1.1 build 0, 1100. Now it can be updated. In the next window, the current and latest firmware versions are shown again, as well as the physical path to the file. You can update immediately or set a schedule. I update immediately. The update process on Zigbee devices is quite long. It can take from 20 to 40 minutes. Just set the module aside during this time and do not touch it until completion. The update was successful. The installed and current versions are identical. As you have probably already guessed, in Zigbee 2 MQTT, I have the option for Home Assistant action sensors enabled, so presses are detected as state changes of the same sensor. The differences are in the button number. The screenshot shows how a single press on the first and second buttons is displayed. As in ZHA, 4 types of presses are recognized here. Here, in the right column, you can see a triple press on the third and a hold on the fourth button. A total of 16 options, but some of them can be used not only in automations. As promised, I show how to configure direct binding in Zigbee 2 MQTT. This is a direct connection between two Zigbee devices within the same network, which works even when the coordinator is turned off, the most reliable connection possible. Open the device page and go to the Bind tab. Here we see 4 blocks of settings, corresponding to the number of buttons. In the first, main one, there is already a link with the coordinator. We do not touch it, but add another one in the same block. In the window that opens, first select the device that will be controlled. For the review unit, binding for lighting control is declared, so I select a Zigbee bulb, Acura. It is connected to the same coordinator. This is a mandatory condition for the connection, the same network. There are no endpoint options here, only one, which we select for control. Now the cluster. We will use the first button for turning on and off, so we select Gen on off. Now you can press the bind button, but there is an important point here. We remember that our module is an end device, meaning it constantly goes into sleep mode. Therefore, before pressing, during, and shortly after, start pressing any of the module's buttons to wake it up. If everything is done correctly, you will see a message in the bottom right corner of the screen, binding was successful. Similarly, we add the second button. The choice of clusters here is already limited, on, off, and level control. I choose the latter. The second button should now control brightness, and not by press, but by holding. This is described in the manufacturer's documentation on the website. For the third, dimming is declared, although it is the same brightness control. I checked, I did not see any difference from the second button. For the fourth, nothing. So I leave it like this. A short press on the first key turns the lamp on and off, and this will work even without the coordinator. Holding the second changes brightness, not smoothly, but in steps of about 33%. Hold briefly for 33, a bit longer for 66%. Press again. Now the brightness increases by 33 or 66%. It is not possible to fully turn off the lamp this way, only reduce brightness. What is the difference between binding and group mode, which is available in some Zigbee dimmers and buttons? I have also talked about them in my videos. Group mode is a separate mode that the device must be switched into. It will directly control other Zigbee devices in the network, but it will either stop generating press events altogether or do so in a limited and altered form. In this case, everything remains as it was. By setting binding for a single press of the first and holding of the second button, all other events can still be freely used in automations as before. If you no longer need the device link, you can also perform unbind in the same way. Press the button in the desired block, wake up the module with repeated presses, and confirm disconnection in the pop-up window. If everything was successful, you will see a corresponding window in the bottom right corner. If for some reason you want to disconnect the device from the network, do not forget to first remove all direct binding links. Overall, I like the controller. It is convenient, multifunctional. I do not experience any issues with the asymmetrical button layout. I like the design. The functionality is more than sufficient. I will also see how the switches of this series perform. There will be a review on the channel as well. I might even decide to replace my Acura with them, as they have become a bit boring over the years. In that case, shared frames for 2 or 3 devices will also come in handy to arrange everything in one row. That's all. I hope the video was useful and interesting for you. Write everything you think about this device in the comments. I will be grateful for your likes, and those who have the desire and opportunity can use the sponsorship feature on the channel. If you do not want to miss new reviews and tutorials, subscribe to my channel. In the description, you will find links to SONOFF Orb, to the mentioned videos, to my social networks, Telegram channels, and a group for communication on smart home topics. Join. It will be interesting. Thank you for your attention. See you soon. Peace to everyone.